Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your Miracle Mindset Monday for this week. So for this week, we have some really interesting decks that we're going to use to assist us in finding how we can awaken our miracle mindset for this week. So our first deck is the Frequency Tarot. Our second deck is the Gateway Oracle. And our third deck, which is one that I rarely use, is the Art Through the Eyes of the Soul deck. So absolutely beautiful. So these are going to be the decks that we will be using. Now, before we get started, as always, remember this is a generalized reading for the week. This is not for personal reading. This is just a generalized reading for the week. If you would like your own personalized Miracle Mindset Monday, you are free to go visit my website, awakeningmiracles.org. Now, also on awakeningmiracles.org, you can also look through my intuitive tips, my online workshops, and all of those other fabulous offerings I have. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. So before we get started, let's go ahead and review, or for me, it's a review. Let's review our generalized message for, excuse me, for this week. And the message that I received for this week was actually twofold. Message number one is, remember, you are always free. You are free to choose. I have an early appointment and we'll watch the recording later. Wonderful. Well, I look forward to you being on the replay then. And good morning, Robin. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning, Shirley. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. So, you are always free. You are free to always choose. You are free to choose either the truth or the illusion. You are free to choose light, or you are free to choose darkness. And that's always your choice. You always have that freedom of choice. Good morning. So that's what we really have to remember here, is that we always have the freedom of choice. The choice to choose between either looking at things through the eyes of our spirit or looking at things through the eyes of our ego. If we choose the eyes of our ego, then realize one important thing. If you look through the eyes of ego, then you will always see death, destruction, darkness. If you look through the eyes of spirit, you will see light, you will see joy, you will see happiness. But it's always about your freedom to choose which one you're going to look through. Yes, there may be a situation that seems terrible and awful, and you just don't know how you could possibly see it any differently. That's okay. You don't have to know how. You just have to be willing. And that's what is a big key in any kind of spiritual practice, in any kind of psychic work, intuitive work, is to be open, to be willing, to allow. And we have that freedom. But all too often we forget that freedom and we start to compare ourselves with other people, or we start to compare ourselves with how something, a book says that we should feel, or so forth and so on. And we then give up that freedom of choice. Good morning. And we don't want to give up that freedom. We do not want to give that up. We want to continue to be willing to see things differently. We want to continue to leave that space in our minds for light, for joy, for happiness. But if we choose, we can say, you know what? No, I'm not going to leave that room. I'm going to, continue to only see things through the lens of the ego. And the other thing is, if you choose the ego, then that means you're ignoring spirit. And if you choose spirit, that means you're ignoring ego, which is exactly what we want to do. We do not want to play the game with it. We do not want to look through its eyes. We do not want to look through its lenses. We want to look through the lens of spirit as much as possible. And if we catch ourselves looking through the lens of ego, we stop, we forgive ourselves, and we turn to the light. So let's go ahead. Good morning, everyone. And let's go ahead and let's see what beautiful cards we have for today. First, we're going to go to the Frequency Tarot. And we're just asking, because people ask me all the time, what are you asking when you are shuffling? And I always just ask, what would you have us know that is going to help us to awaken our miracle mindset? What frequency is going to assist us most? Okay, so, oh, beautiful. Oh, you cannot, oh, I love it. Just looking at it makes me super duper excited. Okay, so what we have here is our first card, self-awareness, being aware. And, you know, self-awareness is so key. It really is a catalyst for unfolding of your true self, unfolding of the light that you are. And so in self-awareness, it's about really realizing where are your patterns, where are your triggers, and just being aware of that, and then being aware of the behaviors that happen when you start having those triggering patterns or those triggering thoughts. Because remember, just from A Course in Miracles perspective, there is a desire. Then from that desire, there is a belief. From that belief, there are thoughts. From thoughts, there are emotions. From emotions, there is perception. So our belief, let's say you have a belief. Let's say you have a desire that you want to be in a relationship, a loving relationship. But there is a belief that's above that that says, well, I can never be in one, which then catalyzes to thoughts that make you believe that, no, I can't be in one, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, or there's not enough good people out there, which then leads you to the emotions of maybe feeling disappointed, maybe feeling like you have to guard yourself, which then leads you to a perception of people, men, women, or whoever you want to date, kind of steering away from you. And you're wondering, well, I'm asking, but you may be asking, but your thoughts are telling you something completely different. So you may be consciously saying, I want a relationship, oh my God, yes! But you don't have the self-awareness to see that there is a belief behind there that's actually stopping that. And that's why it's such a beautiful catalyst. Self-awareness is a beautiful catalyst that you can use to, good morning, that you can use to really begin that process of unfolding. Because that's what we're doing. It is that process of saying, you know what, I see that's an old pattern. I see those are old beliefs. Oh, well, thank you so much. And, you know, I see all of that. I see that they are there. But I'm willing, once again, our willingness, our freedom to choose. I am saying I see them, I recognize them, but I will not go into them. Instead, I choose a different way of being. I'm choosing to shut down those thoughts and say, no, you know what, I'm going to choose differently. But it all starts with self-awareness. You have to have that self-awareness first. Good morning. So if you don't have that self-awareness, then you're not going to be able to catalyze, and you're not going to be able to, you know, really see how is it that I can begin to better unfold myself. And I also just want to pull a card from the top and just see what beauty comes from that. And it's optimism, being willing to say, you know what, I can look at these. It's okay. I'm not going to, you know, die from it. I'm not going to have a mental breakdown from it. It's all going to be okay, having that optimism. So how absolutely beautiful. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Gateway Oracle. And we're going to see what beautiful messages come from the Gateway Oracle. Okay. Oh, I love it. So our affirmation is igniting courage. I am strong, valiant, and courageous. And it does. It takes courage to become self-aware. It takes courage to be willing to look at yourself and look at your patterns and say, you know what? Enough is enough. It does. It takes a lot of courage to do that. But you can do it. There's nothing that stops you from doing it. And we have to be willing to communicate freely. Oh, yeah, sorry, I was upside down. But we have to be willing to communicate freely. That's what we have to be willing to do. And that means with ourselves. Being willing to communicate and be like, yeah, this is how I feel. This is how I'm feeling in this moment. And be willing to share ourselves, our true selves. I mean, look at this lady. She's in a tutu on a zebra. She is just being her true and authentic self, being like, here I am. And that's what this whole process is about. Your miracle mindset isn't about, crazy things happening to you. It's about awakening the light within you so that you can see the truth. So that you can see that the world is a beautiful and amazing place. And I actually want to read you something from our lesson yesterday from my ACIM support group. This was from lesson 12. This is paragraph number 5. Paragraph number 5. If you could accept the world as meaningless and let the truth be written upon it for you, it would make you indescribably happy. I mean, how does that, just let that sink in for a minute. Wow. If I would just accept in this moment that the world is meaningless and let the truth be written upon it for me, the world would be indescribably happy. It's because we ascribe meaning to the world. And so I just think that's absolutely beautiful, and it goes really nicely with this week's energy of saying, you know what? Okay, I need to be self-aware. I need to see the meanings that I'm putting on the world, on my relationships, on all of this stuff. I need to be aware of the meaning that I'm putting on it. And as I am being aware of the meaning that I'm putting on it, that catalyzes me to really be like, okay, how is it that I can begin to see this differently? How can I begin to really step into that and ignite my courage, communicate freely, and begin to share myself, begin to truly unfold the divinity that is within me? This is all about a shift in your perception. Miracles that's all miracles really are. They are a shift in perception from fear to love. That's why that optimism card also came out. Being willing, it's not about wearing rose-colored sunglasses all the time. It is about saying, yes, I see this, but I leave room in my mind for spirit to write the definition for me. Because all too often, we write the definition. We say what it must be. We say how it has to be. And we do not allow spirit any room to say, hey, you know what? There's a different way to look at this. There's a different way to see this. So now let's go to the art through the eyes of the soul. And let's see what beautiful messages we get from this deck. And just remember, guys, if you want your own personalized Miracle Mindset Monday with your own personalized messages for you, then feel free to go visit awakeningmiracles.org. Whoops. Whoa, that was a lot of cards. But here's the card that came out first. And it's the one that's upright. So absolutely beautiful. So, sorry, Stephanie, this is not for personalized readings. This is just a generalized reading for the week. But there may be a message within the generalized reading that speaks specifically to you. So this one is the Master in Tibet. Now, I think this looks like Jesus. That's just my opinion. But it says, become the master you seek. I mean, how absolutely beautiful. Become the master you seek. And this card is really talking about that unfolding process we talked about in the very beginning of the reading. It's about you realizing that there is no master outside of you that can teach you anything you do not already know. Now, you may need to go to someone to help you remember that truth. I'm all about remembering. That's really where I come with all of this. Is, it's not about teaching you anything new. It's about helping you remember the truth that's already there. You already have the best teacher. And it's your own, it's your own internal teacher that's already there, already waiting for you to awaken. And that's all that it is. It is just you really allowing yourself to say, you know what? Yes, maybe someone else has a different perspective that I don't have. But I am, once again, I have the freedom to say, I'm going to choose to tune in to myself. I'm going to choose my own inner teacher. And so many people ask me, well, Ron, that's great for you. You can hear your inner teacher, or you feel your inner teacher, or, you're really in touch with your inner teacher. You do cards, you do this, you do that, you do all of these things. So, it's easy for you to say this. But I will tell you, and this is something that I cover in my 8 weeks of guidance course, is, one of the stories is I sat in meditation, guys. I sat in meditation for so long, trying, clawing, I felt like, for, the universe to give me a name of a guide, to show me something. But it wasn't until I just said, you know what, I'm just meditating because I want to calm down. I'm just meditating. I'm just going to be open. Whatever happens, happens. It wasn't until then that something finally was revealed to me. It was about me letting go of all that I thought I knew, all the way, all of the teachings, and just coming into myself and saying, okay, you know what? I see, number one, my self-awareness was, I see that I am trying to reach for something outside of me. Guidance is not outside of you. It is within you. Number two, that catalyzed me into realizing, wow, I'm doing a lot of reaching out instead of reaching in. Which then, number three, led me to unfold, let the universe pretty much unfold for me and say, you know what? Let's ignite that courage. Let's communicate freely so that you can really see that the master is within you. The Christed consciousness, your guides, your angels, they're not out here in the world. They are in here waiting for you. It's not about, me being special or you being special or anyone being special. Everyone has access to guidance. Everyone is able to communicate in whatever form with their guides, their angels, their inner Christ, their inner light, the divine, whatever it is you want to call it. Everyone has access to that. No one is exempt. No one. So really, this reading is an invitation for you this week to get self-aware, to begin to unfold, to ignite your courage, to communicate freely, and really realize that the master lives within you. The master isn't out here. Now, you may go to someone, you may go to a yogi, you may come to, to me, you may come to, anyone else. And those people will lead you to a door that maybe you were afraid to look at. Those people can lead you to, that place of remembrance. But none of us can make you walk through that door. That's your choice to do so. That's your That's your free will to say, yes, I will walk through that door, or no, I will not. But that's all your choice. So that is the invitation for this week. And I thank you so much for joining me. I thank you so much for being here. This is such a great message. Thank you so much. So much truth in this. Oh, well, wonderful. I'm so glad that it was able to be helpful to you. So once again, if you're interested in your own Miracle Mindset Monday with your own personalized message for the week, then please feel free to go visit awakeningmiracles.org. If you are interested in my 8 weeks of guidance course, which is going to be opening up in February, and it can either be done as a group or individually, then please feel free to also go look at awakeningmiracles.org/workshops. And it is I believe it's the third or the fourth workshop that is available. So that's what you guys can go look at if you're interested in working more with me. And I will now be seeing some of you on my ACIM support page as we read lesson 13 for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here. And I send you all of my love. And remember, the master is within you.